Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us tonight. I know that it's weird to see me this time of the night, but hey, a girl's gotta talk. Welcome to Bedtime Chit Chat. I am Mary Annicott. Most of you know me when I talk about politics, but tonight we're talking tea. Yes. We're talking about sex because it seems to be the biggest thing that's selling, whether you're trying to sell a mattress or you're trying to sell a teacup. There's always something sexy in the advertisement. Now, we're not just going to talk about that. We're going to be talking about why does it seem like we're so obsessed with sex in today's world that all we can do or think of half the time is sex. Now, there are lots of people who are of the school of thought that of the school of that is not true. Who says I think about sex all the time? But there are those who argue that half of our population are always thinking about sex. Look at how many babies were made during the lockdown. And some people will say that, oh, well, we didn't have what to do, so we just kept having sex. It was like recreational sports. But also, we talk about sex in relationships. Should that be more like a cementing factor in your relationship? Are we overly sexed in today's world? Is that the first thing that comes to mind when you see someone of the opposite sex? All of these theories we're going to be breaking down. My guest is a media personality. She's a TV girl, and she hosts a show on Plus TV Africa, and it is a flagship station in Lagos, Nigeria. Osayuamen Saleh is my guest, and she's joining us live from Lagos, Nigeria. Hello, Ua. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Marianne Con.
So,
How are
I
you?
mean, when I the first time I posted the flyer for this conversation, everybody was just like, "I don't understand. What does this have to do with what you do on a normal day?" And I said, "Well, we talk too much about politics in Nigeria. Let's talk about social issues. Let's spill the tea. This time
Politics.
of the night, people want to just kick back, relax, and talk about the things that really truly matter. I'm not saying that politics doesn't matter, but hey, these are real issues." So I'm going to ask the first question, Uwa. Do you think that we're overly sexed in
Mm-hmm.
today's world?
Mm. Really think so. Yes. That's a very short, simple answer because it's every single thing that we want to project, we want to sell. If the narrative is not having a sexual undertone, those kind of conversations don't go far. In all honesty, yes. That it's a risk, no. Maybe social media just helped to make it very, very obvious. But sex has been will a very powerful tool that, you know, can be used to attract anything. So I don't think it's just for generation now, whether we're overly sexed. I think it's always been there. What has just happened, what has just changed is technology. People are able to see it in your face now because anytime you go online, you watch a skit, something, it has to be something sexual. You see the views. It's very common to assess these things, Marianne. When you go on Instagram, for instance, and you want to search for maybe trending videos and all that, the ones that have the sexual undertone in them, you would see that they really do attract a lot of engagement, both views, comments, and shares, unlike the ones that, are just maybe random conversations. So sex, yeah, we are overly sexed these days, but I don't think it's just a recent phenomenon. I think it's always been there. What has just changed is social media is helping us to project it better.
I mean, again, let's talk about young people because I mean, you are married. I mean, you are married, you are licensed to talk about sex at any time of the day, whether it's morning or evening, whether the hour is godly or not. But we tend to notice that, and I'm sure that you can also relate when we're growing up, young people, as young people, there was this sense that if you were not having sex, you felt like you were left out because everybody else was doing it. And research also shows that a lot of young people feel pressured because they feel that everybody's doing it and they're not doing it. So it's very difficult for them to even have those conversations because they feel like if they even mention that, oh well, I haven't, that people are going to laugh at them or look down on them. But how did you even get to that point where you have to have sex to belong, to be able to have certain conversations?
Ah, would I say, how did we get here? Marianne, this is a very interesting question because I still know people that are in their 30s are still virgins. You know, I know people that have not had sexual intercourse with anyone, and they're in their 30s, they're single, they're not married, and they're not dating anyone. They don't have anything. I think what's happening with this generation, the young generation now, is I think again it will still boil down to what is before a lot of things you could do, you really had to go look for it, right? I mean, I
Hmm.
remember my first encounter watching what's it called, X-rated movies. Marianne, if I give you the
Hmm.
gist, it wasn't funny. A neighbor of ours in our home in Kaduna State, a neighbor of ours gave us a DVD telling us that it was Chinese movies, right? And in those days, there was just one television and it's in the living room, and you have the VCR, or what do we call it, the DVD, or what's it called, the VCR, not the CDs now.
Yeah,
And so he
it's a
gave us the
VHS.
cassette to say, what, he gave us the cassette to say, this is what we're doing, blah blah blah, is a Chinese movie and all of that. Did So we put in the VCR, or what do we call that thing now? And the next thing, boom, in my face, it was like, so the speed at which we injected the thing, but it was so difficult. So what we did was curiosity. My siblings and I, waited till night or something and tried to watch it. But that was my first introduction. It was so hard for you to go anywhere to say you want to just, I mean, you couldn't see pornography anywhere. But Marianne, today, you're on YouTube, you're on social media, you are watching a video and something just pop up in your face and you're seeing pornography, right? So if you say what's happening to the generation today, I think it is also the proliferation of social media and different kinds of accessibility that we have today that has just heightened, because everybody's a sexual being, right? Everybody at some point. I know when I was a lot younger, I wanted to explore, but there was not just that avenue. So God saved us. But that doesn't mean that we didn't have it inside of us to want to explore. But the avenue was never there. I'm sure that if the opportunity, that these guys of this generation have today was available for us then, I think we also would have also what's it called, been been engaged or involved in a lot of sexual activities. So that's what I feel.
I just it's really incredible because I remember when I was in uni and the conversations that people my age used to have. I looked at them like they were crazy, but they looked at me also like I was crazy. Like, what's wrong with this one? And then there's also that thing, especially with the girls, when
Oh,
you see. In fact, I think it's worse
Marianne,
worse up
I'm
with the guys
I'm
when the
I'm
guys say,
struggling. Marianne, can you hear me? I'm struggling to hear you.
"Can you hear me?"
Yeah, I can hear you, but it's a bit muffled.
Okay, can you hear me better now? Is it better now?
Sugar. Internet, please be kind to us tonight.
Well,
I can hear you.
welcome to Nigeria and the drama with the internet. So, can you hear me better now? Is it way better?
Oh yes, I can hear you better now. I can hear you better now.
Great. So, I'm asking, and I want people to join this conversation because this is not just between Uwa and I. We want to talk about really some of the memories that we had growing up, and
Oh
then
shoot.
put it side by side with what we are experiencing in today's world. Because you see a 13-year-old, you see 15-year-olds, and they're already indulging, and they don't see anything wrong with it because they feel like, hey, we're moving with the times. You're like somebody from the Stone Age. Why are you asking me why I'm having boyfriends or why I'm having sex? So is if it weren't for the pressure that we all experienced when we were growing up, do you, as a person, who I think that you would have had sex at all until maybe you were ready?
Ah, Marianne, I struggled to hear what you said. Ah, shoot.
Oh my goodness, I do not know what
Marianne,
the problem
can you
is,
come back
but
again? Because I struggle.
I can hear you.
The network is really poor
Maybe
tonight.
it's from your end
Okay, so
because I
can you
can hear
come
you
back
loud
again?
and
You
clear.
said something. Or is it from my? But
So
it
I'm
said
I'm
the
asking you
network is
a
going from my
question,
end. I can see
like
the
for
bars. So
everyone
what
who's
did you just? Can you
watching,
come back again?
like if there
Yeah.
was no pressure. Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
If you're under pressure, I can
Yeah,
hear
if not for the
you.
pressure that we experienced when we were growing up, do you think that you as a person would have even had sex when you did have sex?
Oh, sugar. You know what? Let me see if I can.
Oh my goodness. So I think that we're having connection issues with Uwa. Once she gets back, we will continue with the conversation. But I want to hear from you guys. Do you think that we're overly sexed? Do you think that our generation, we are very focused on sex and all of the issues that come with it? Because we see lots of young people, getting involved, we see lots of teen moms and teen dads, and we're not judging, but do you think that maybe we've overly glorified sex, especially with our advertising, our movies, our videos? How much role has that played in our day-to-day lives? And I'm asking you, as a normal person, when you were younger, was it pressure that made you indulge early? Was it just that you wanted to do it when you were ready? If there was no pressure, would you have done it? Well, it is bedtime chit chat, and my guest is Uwa. We will be back right after this short break. Okay.
Can you leave the Wi-Fi? Let me try. Okay, I think the network is better now. Marianne, baby, what are you doing?
Okay, we're back. It's still bedtime chit chat. We're having issues with our internet. It happens in Nigeria these internet issues are never done with. But Okay, we are back. Apparently, we have been having connection issues, but if you're just joining us, we're talking about how and why sex sells, and we're talking about sex in our world today and why people are overly sexual, why every conversation has to revolve around sex. I mean, aside from the advertising, we can also talk about the issues of you know, relationships and people booing up. You cannot boo up if you are not having any. And this does put pressure on, the relationship with people and with the opposite sex. And we want to hear your thoughts. Bear with us. Our internet connection internet issue sorted. Hopefully we can get this internet issue sorted. So my guest is also having internet issues tonight. These things happen in Nigeria. But hey, I want to say hello to El Shabazz who sent us a message from Lynchburg City. Molly B is sending us a message from Pittsburgh. Otue Kong Achibong here says, everything is a reflection. Poverty in the land. They want to survive. They want to wear clothes. So who's the day that you're talking about? You're saying that people are having sex because they want money, to wear clothes to survive. Is that really the thing? What is responsible for the overly sexualized generation of today? Music videos, our advertisements, even relationships. So people, and I always ask that question. I was hoping that Uwa would be able to come back so she can answer this question. When did you start having sex as a person? Um, and when you did, was it pressure because your friends were all having it? Was it because um, it seemed cool to have sex? And if
Mhm.
you weren't having sex, people would look at you funny, like, you know. Or did you have it when you were ready, mentally, emotionally, and physically? These are the conversations that we're going to have. So send me a message, join the conversation. We're live on Twitter, on Facebook, and on YouTube. My YouTube is Mary Angie Cohn, or better still, you can go on Twitter at Mimi Ayo, Mimiuio. Just post your comments. We'd like to hear from you. If you have questions, you have comments, you want to share an experience with us. Do you think that relationships actually thrive without sex in it? Because I've heard people say that, oh, I was in a relationship with this person, and but I wasn't having sex. And then one day, and the person was okay. And then one day, I realized that he was sleeping with everybody else but me. Well, Uwa is back. Let's hope that the internet favors us at this point. Hi, Uwa. Sorry, I think we were both having internet connection issues at the same time. Literally, I think we're using the same. I don't know, the
Yeah.
same network. I think so
the
because
same
it
the
just went
same
off
service
at the same time.
provider. Oh.
I think so.
Oh.
So I'm sure you heard what I was saying about the fact that there's so much pressure to indulge, and the story of the lady who said, I wasn't ready, but I was in a relationship with this very hot guy, and he was okay with it when I told him that I wasn't, having any. But then she got to realize that he was sleeping with everybody else but her. So it brings to the question,
Hmm.
can relationships actually survive without sex? Is there any such thing as a sexless relationship?
Is a yes and no answer. Honestly, um, sex is so powerful, right? Is a very powerful and what's it called? Feeling. So it's difficult for you to say that a relationship will stay long without sex. So I remember someone when I did a conversation on sex in marriage and all of that, and someone actually sent me a message, and the person said that so him and his wife to be had agreed to be celibate, not have sex, and um, until the wedding night. On the wedding night, the guy decides, okay, it's time to finally I get to whatever, and now meets. Literally, he said he met a whale. Marianne, he met a whale. Like it was, in his words, it was bottomless pit. He met a bottomless pit. And a few weeks down the line, or a few months down the line, the marriage, someone now goes to send him a video of his wife in the midst of three guys, Marianne. So there was,
Mm-hmm.
she was the director. There was one anal happening. There was the normal vaginal happening. Then there was an, what's it called, a blowjob happening. Three guys all on this woman that he felt, said, oh, we should stay celibate and not do anything. So my dear,
Wow.
it is very possible for you to have, but it is actually very tricky because, like you rightly said, a lot of people will go out, do what they need to do, and now come and act like nothing happened. And oh, I'm
Oh,
waiting for our wedding night.
I'm faithful to
So
you. I love you only,
yeah,
and my buddies for just you.
so so it's actually very, it's very tricky in this present age. I would, maybe the guys will help me here, but I don't think it is. I don't think it happens as it used to when we were growing up. It was a thing of, I just wait till that special person comes. I mean, while I was in school, secondary school, people were having sex. So it was not like, sex has not been a new
No
thing. It's
way, come
always
on.
been there.
Secondary school? No.
Yes, Marianne. Yes. Yes. So it's just, I was just too naive. I didn't know what was going on. But people were having sex. Now, because of the work I do with children, and I go to secondary schools, Marianne, I've heard so many stories. So even today, right, 8 year olds, 7 year olds, it's so bad. Some of them are so addicted. And again, it will take me back. I will piggyback down to what I had said earlier. The exposure. Pornography is at your fingertip now, Marianne. So your mind, and because we're sexual beings, right? If you have seen it once, it's going to take a lot of willpower for you not to indulge,
Hmm.
because it, your body is already alert. Your body is awake. Your sense is already heightened. Your curiosity has been unlocked. So even at that tender age, you see young people indulging in sexual activities, not because they set out to do it, but because of what the environment, has, exposed them to. So I think the reason we have a very um, high rate of sexual activities going on, and it seems like everybody is just prone to sex, because everything, Marianne, you want to sell toothpaste, you will use sex to sell it. You
Yes.
want to sell what's it called, snack, biscuits, you will use sex to sell it, right? So even in our advertisements,
Yeah.
in everything we do, we want to sell body lotion, you would use sex to sell it. You want to sell a perfume, you would use sex to sell it. So tell me why you are not. So sex is everywhere in our faces, right? So we are only deceiving ourselves, we're only telling ourselves something that is not true when we say that oh no, it has not always, no, it's always been like that. It's just that now everybody is just, now we're not fearless anymore. Nobody's afraid of dying and going to hellfire like we used to. They used to hunt us with, you will go to hell, you go to hell. So now all of us, our generation, we've seen that, okay, I remember there was a time when I was growing up, they said rapture was going to happen, so we all went and we knelt down, we give our lives to Christ, and all of a sudden nothing is happening, and you now say, ah, wait, did they deceive me? you know so so that's basically what I
It's
think is
crazy.
happening. Is Yeah.
So, you just pointed to something else I wanted to ask, because we're Africans. I know that some people who are watching us might not be Africans, but then I want to talk about culture, tradition, religion, which plays an active role in the average African person's life. Now, just as you mentioned, we might go to hell if you do this, if you did that, and because we're very religious people, we tend to hold on to those beliefs and not want to do anything that would hurt our religion. But then, of course, there's also tradition. I was listening to the radio the other day, and I heard the honored person talking about, or somebody called into the show and said that she wants to get married to this guy, but then just after the engagement, the guy comes up to her and says, "Well, where I come from, The woman has to take an oath of sorts that she's not going to sleep with anybody else, because if she does sleep with somebody else, then obviously she's going to die. Now, the caveat is that nothing may happen to the husband. So the thing there is that if the woman does have sex while she's married to this guy from this place, then she might die. And so she asked the guy, so what happens if you're the one who's stepping out on me? If you're the one who's cheating on me, what happens to you? And he says, well, I'm the man. My tradition doesn't cover that part. But if you, as my wife, steps out of this relationship and sleeps with somebody, you will die. And so she brings it to the radio and she's asking everybody, like, how is this possible? Is tradition only for a certain group of people? So let me ask, have we jettisoned our culture, our tradition, and our religious beliefs, and we're all now sexing our lives away? What, can you hear me?
Hmm. Oh, sorry, I lost you for a minute. So sorry. Can you come back again, Marianne? Today is just
Yeah,
interesting.
so I was telling the story
Marianne,
of
can you
a
come back
lady who
again?
called on a radio show talking about the fact that, you know, her she got engaged recently to this guy and they're supposed to get married. But then the guy tells her a few weeks after the engagement that, look, where I come from, the women are not supposed to sleep with any man outside this relationship, because if you do, you will die. But then, of course, a smart girl as she is, she says, so what about the man? If
Hmm.
you're the one who's stepping out of the relationship, what happens to you? And he goes, well, I'm the man, nothing's going to happen to me, but this is what my tradition covers. So this is the question, and I'm talking about this is the tradition part of it. The tradition is set in a certain way where it protects or keeps the woman from stepping out. When you're growing up as a woman, your mother says, don't let a man touch you, you get pregnant. So most girls
You
used to
get
have that
pregnant,
play
yeah.
out at the back of their minds. But then there's also the religious part of it, where the Bible says, or the Quran says, or whatever faith that you believe in, this is what it says: you should not have sex, because when you do, you are infringing on, blah blah blah. So I'm asking, now that every single person seems to be having sex, have we totally jettisoned all of those tradition, culture, and religious beliefs that we horribly held on to in time past?
So I think some of those traditions or cultures, right, were put in place just to keep the women in check. Like you rightly said, I think that thing is called, is it magun or something, where a man, does some kinds of rituals to make sure that the woman does not, go outside of their marriage, but he is permitted to do so. So I think, because again, awareness, a lot of things happened in ignorance, Marianne. And a lot of some people tested it and saw that nothing happened to them. It's just like the girls that the mother said, if a man should touch you, that was the narrative, that was the language. So the men now came and said, no, I'm not touching you now, I'm just, you know I've heard a man say,
Mm.
a man introduced a girl
Hmm.
to, what's it called, to anal sex, because they had told her that if she had gone through the vagina she would get pregnant. So the man said, no, don't worry, I'm not going in through the
Hmm.
vagina. I'm going to go through you understand? So it was, I mean, so when you
Wow.
found out all of those things happening and you now realize that, oh, okay, nothing happened to me. So I did this, nothing happened to me. It just emboldens you to do more, right? So because a lot of those narratives, those traditional beliefs or whatever, they were founded on a very selfish, because some people wanted to do some things and get away with it. So they came up with some form of what's it called, covering, to say these are laws, these are this, these are that. And at the end of the day, when you, out of curiosity, tried it and you saw that nothing happened to you, of course everybody now is doing it. So we have young people that have been told so many things that it seemed like, oh, you guys lied to us now. So because you lied to me, Now I am unleashed and I'm going to do whatever it is that I'm going to do, and nothing is going to happen to me. So that's what we're having. It's almost like a revolt. People are revolting against some of these things that were told to, that were said that would happen if you did this, you get this. And we didn't see those repercussions happening, because they were never true, right?
Hmm.
So I like to talk to my children when it comes to sex. I like to tell them the truth. Sex is the most enjoyable, the most pleasurable, what's it called? Most pleasurable experience you would ever have as a human being is the because it is a powerful
Hmm. Oh, I think Uwa is frozen there, but you can join the conversation. Like I said, everyone can be part of this conversation. Um, Text us, tweet us, share your experiences. When did you start having sex? Did you have it out of pressure because all your friends were doing it? Your colleagues were doing it. You felt left out. Was it pressure from the person you thought was your what you were in a relationship with? Let's talk about it. And if you had the opportunity, if the tide was turned and you
what's the
didn't have
password?
pressure, would you have had any sexual relationship, um, at the time that you did? Because there are lots of people who regret that they had early sex. Now, I've also had conversations with guys who have said that I probably shouldn't have had sex when I did, but then I was molested or I was introduced by an auntie or a cousin, inappropriately. And now, I mean, all I could think of is sex and I cannot do without it. Well, that's also an issue that needs to be dealt with on a different level. But I want to hear from you. Join the conversation 08. Sorry, you can join the conversation on our comment section. I beg your pardon. I For a second there, I thought I was on radio. So you can be part of the conversation by tweeting, by texting us, whether you're on Facebook, you're on Twitter, on YouTube. We want to hear from you. Thank you all for watching and be part of the conversation. Maya Gives is asking, is that Adrian Grainer? No, it's not. But we want to hear from you. Share your stories, your experiences. Why do you think that we're overly sexualized in today's world? Is it because of pressure? Is it because of our music videos? Is it because there's now a culture of sex? Is it because now it's very cool to have it? And if you're not having it, then you probably are either lying to yourself or you're not part of the cool gang. Ooh, I'm so sorry. The internet is just that's boosting us.
To
It's
you. So I don't
crazy.
know where I stopped.
It's
The
crazy.
network is
But
funny.
ooh,
So I tell young people. So let me just wrap up on what I was trying to say. So I tell
yeah.
young people, because stop saying that sex is bad. Sex is not bad. Sex is good. It's the greatest feeling ever you are going to feel in your
Mhm.
lifetime. It takes you to heaven and back, right? When you tell a
Mhm.
young person that sex is bad and the young person experiences sex and finds out that this is a fantastic feeling, what then happens? You just lie to that person. So can we begin to change those narratives? Because it is a good thing. It's only the only thing I say is that the most
Oh dear, here we go again. We are frozen. Sorry, Uwa. Her internet is going in and out. But we're going to still have this conversation. We still have a few more minutes to go, and we want to hear from you. We're talking about apologies. The internet today, the connection is so bad. We were hoping that at this time of the night it would be really good, but hey, we're going to keep trying to talk. So tell us where you're watching from. Share your comments with us. Share your thoughts with us. We want to hear from you. Are we too obsessed with sex in today's world, and why? And would you be in a relationship that is sexless? And what would be your reason for staying in that relationship or even being in a relationship in the first instance? And then, um, can you actually be truthful? If you are in a relationship, you liked a person, and but then the person says, "Well, I'm not having any sex. This because I have a particular um, you know responsibility to not do it, and this is my plan. I probably will do when I get married or when I think that this relationship is strong." Would you be faithful to that person to stay in that relationship without cheating on them? My guest is Osayuame Asale. She's a media personality. She's having internet connection issues, and so she's going in and out. But we're going to want to hear your thoughts, and you can share your sex experience stories with us because we'd like to hear, we'd like to learn. We're all here, nobody's judging, and we're open to hear your thoughts. So join the conversation. Have we jettisoned our whole culture, religion, all the things that we held dearly before now? Are we losing those things because now it looks like nobody's afraid anymore to either talk about it or to do it? It's literally in your face everywhere. You watch TV, you're on your phone, there are pop ups, it's literally everything is smelling and reeking of it. Why are we in that position? We want to hear from you. And hey, it doesn't stop here because on the show, we're going to be going in deep to talk about all kinds of things. We don't hold anything back. We'll talk about relationships, we'll talk about sex, we'll talk about social issues, real life experiences. And these people are bringing those experiences to you because they want to hear from you, they want to hear your opinion, and they want a guidance one way or the other. So if you're watching us on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, drop your comments. Tell us, why do you think so? Now, one of our comments here says, and I want to read it again, that a lot of people want to wear nice clothes. They want to, because of poverty in the land, a lot of people are having sex. And I'm wondering, is sex supposed to be a tool for survival? Isn't that supposed to be termed as, let's say, um, commercial sex because it's transactional? But then there are people who are school of thought who will tell you that, well, most women in relationships today and most men in relationships today are transactional. They're having transactional sex of sorts. So, well, they tell their boyfriends that, well, I'm sleeping with you, I'm cooking the meals, I'm doing this, so you ought to pay me, or you're supposed to pay for my hair or do my nails or pay for my college tuition or something, or pay my rent. But then in the middle of all of these things that we're saying is sex. And so it bothers me. Why is the world today, especially in 2021, overly sexualized? We still have a few minutes before we go. I hope that Uwa can get back with us so that we can wrap up this conversation. And the issue where a lady said that she was about to get married and her husband to be tells her that, well, you cannot have sex with anybody outside this relationship, else you will die. And so she says, so what about you? Will you die too if you are the one who steps out on this relationship? And the man goes, no, my culture doesn't cover that. So I'm wondering, what does she do in this instance? Because, of course, I don't think that anybody wants to set into a relationship and cheat on their partner. But what if the partner tries to cheat on them? What is the repercussional effect? Uwa is back. Ah, my goodness, this is so tedious. We'll have to do a replay of this show again because tonight is the internet is just wilding out on us.
The internet
Okay.
is really crazy, Marianne.
Uh,
I had to just
Trust
go
me.
to my laptop to see maybe this will work better. But the
Maybe
internet is
I think
crazy.
this seems a
So I
bit.
heard a
Um,
comment you read that said about poverty, people trying to buy clothes and all of that. Then again, I
yeah,
say that you see how powerful social media is, Marianne. It's so powerful. It's a powerful tool. It's
yeah.
highly impressionable on the minds of people, especially if you do not know who you are, you don't have an identity, right? Anything
Mm-hmm.
begins to make you feel like maybe you are inadequate and all of that. There's no amount of thing I see that would make me say tomorrow I'm done having sex and now bring out my hand or you pay me money, because I'm not wired that way. And that's why I say that there are some things you can't catch me
That's
doing.
happening
I'm
every
not wired.
day. I see it on social media. A girl posted yesterday on Instagram that the men today are so uncultured. They that what's wrong with them? That you see a girl. I think it was one of the Big Brother contestants for last year. I think Tolani Badge or something. That said that men are so this and that, that you see a guy, you see a lady at the counter, she's shopping and then she's about to check out. You can't pay for it, but then you want her number. And I'm thinking, if there was no guy at that shop, would you not pay for your grocery, honey, and go home? So there are people who feel that's
Well, no,
entitled,
it's the
that
guy that looked for trouble now.
if you
The guy
want
asked
any of this, you're gonna have to
for phone
pay
number.
for it.
The guy
So
asked for phone
imagine
number. But I
if
think
somebody
I
now
think
starts
it's, but
dating that
Marianne,
type of girl
on a lighter
and
note, I don't want
has
to make
sex with her. She will want money, obviously. Maybe
Marianne,
this
I do
time
not
to pay
want
her
to
rent.
make so me a picture of a pool party with they now say big buttocks, big whatever. Come, they were trying to to sell the pool party, and they were trying to tell
Mm-hmm.
you, oh, come with your babe. You know, there's going to be. I mean, come and enjoy some babes with big buttocks, big breasts, and all of that.
Wow.
So,
What
Marianne,
happens to those of us
let's
who
do
don't have big
a
bum
quick
bum?
trip. There's problem in the land. You know, let's do a quick trip. As you are like this now, you want to go and spend 2 million naira or 3 million naira to go and get a surgical enhancement where your fat is transferred to your butt and you have a tinier waist and bigger boobs and all of that. You
I'm not
wouldn't do
doing it.
that.
I'll go to the
But there are
gym.
so many people that have invested that money. Huh?
I will go to the gym.
Some people have in Jim will not give you the kind of butt, my dear. Jim can't do
Girl,
that.
you're
You know,
lying.
but some
The
people would
glutes that you
spend
get
that
after
money.
some years, they're real. But it's okay. Go ahead.
Marianne, it cannot be compared to what is happening under the knife. It's not comparable at all. So when they have spent that much money, what do you think that body is meant for? So a lot of people now, they have it's so difficult to find a relationship that is not transactional, that is not a give me money in return for sex. And I was saying to you before I was locked off that, so what I tell young people, sex is good in itself. It's a great thing. It's a fantastic feeling. But the only beautiful thing, the thing that makes it magical is when you're having sex with the person you truly are connected to, you are in love with, right? You're not just having sex for sex sake. That when you have sex with someone you truly love and you're connected to, that one, it is the feeling cannot be, it can only be experienced. It will take you to heaven and back. So if we start to change some of these narratives, because let me tell
Uh,
you, for
so
as long as
there's a
these young people
question
will continue to
there's a
see
question
pornography.
on. Sorry, there's a question here about big bottoms before we lose our train of thought. Um, RJ Mick here is saying, what if people don't prefer big bottoms? I mean, what happens to the boob guy or the guy that just likes, you know, tight calves or something? I mean, he's asking, he wants to know what your
Let me
perspective
tell you
is.
something, Marianne, and this is why I keep on saying that these narratives that we are pushing, they are wrong. I have seen so many guys that say, I do not like big breasts, I do not like big butts. Where this narrative came that made it look like it was Kim Kardashian that started pushing this curvy narrative that every man wants to have, what's it called, a perfect hourglass with a big butt, big bust, and all of that. So now girls feel that that is what sexy is. There are different kinds of sexy. There is a sexy that is your boobs are like maybe tangerines or whatever, but you're just well packaged, very small and portable. There are some that are the curvy ones, the figure eight and all of that. But if we now start to change the narrative and generalize and say a lot of men like it big, they like it this, that's a big lie. But that is what is selling currently, and that's why you see so just to have that what's it called perfect hourglass shape, which is not really the narrative, right? It's just the same thing as they say with men. Some say it is what's it called? It's a man that has the big whatever that no every and every
Look,
shape,
I think that
every size, every
everybody
whatever
has their own
has its
poison.
function.
Everybody has their own poison. There are those who are
Absolutely.
just
I
suckers
can
for.
never allow.
I'm sorry, there's like a break in our connection. But go ahead, Ua.
So can you hear me? Okay. I was saying that like for me now, I can never ever encounter somebody that is gigantic and you think you want to put it where? It's not again inadequate basic videos. But it is not about the size, right? It is just you having the right person,
that is your partner. And there, when it comes to sex, study the person that you're dealing with, because not everybody, and the narrative of people like you rough, they will like, no, everybody's sexual preference is completely different. So all these generalizations, the general terms that we're using, it makes it difficult for people to be clear as to who they are and understand their own type of, or their preference. So some men are so feeling inadequate. They feel like because their whatever is not big enough, they cannot be confident to meet a woman because they have sold the idea that it is only big whatever that gets a woman satisfied, and that's a big lie, right? So we should start to change some of these narratives as it pertains to sex. I don't like that generalization. Not every man likes a perfect hourglass woman that has big boobs and big butt, and it is not
Some
because you
men
have
like
big boobs
me
and
with
big
my
that makes
flat
you
ass.
sexy. That's it, Marianne. And you are a sexy girl, right? You are sexy just the way you are. So we should start to change those narratives, because we are what's it called? We are programming this young generation that are coming very wrongly. I've seen girls that have not had babies, Marianne. They are 17, 18, going under the knife to go and get physical enhancement for their butts and their whatever. On earth are you doing with that? You've not had children, you've
Crazy.
not done any, and you're going under the knife. It is ridiculous, right? And it will
But
continue to grow as long as everything around us is sexualized. You want to sell a car, you put a fine girl beside the car, and the car is sold. That's what is done. Then you want to do some this promotional event. You put on lovely girls and throw them on the street and say, go and market my event. So we have continuously done that, and it will continue to happen until we say enough is enough and we change the narrative. That's only when this idea of everything is being sexualized will stop.
the very interesting questions that Mick is asking here, but we're going to get to those. If you're watching us on Twitter, you're watching us on Facebook, on YouTube, please ask questions. Please share your comments. We want to hear what you think about. I mean, this is a conversation between all of us. We all have our opinion. Uh, so you've talked on something that's very important, Ua, which is, does size matter? It now I lived in a part of America where the first question when you go out on a date with a person is, "Oh, um, did you feel it? Was it big?" And for the life of me, I'm wondering, what is big? Like, what? And you're not even asking me, like, how does his brain work? What does he think? How does he treat people? How did he treat the waiter? Does he really like you? Or, what does he do for a living? First thing is, he's cute, but like, is he big? Like, did you try to feel it when he kissed you? Did it? So we're foiling these narratives also. We have, maybe as women, made it seem like has to be a bongidi. If it's not a bongidi, it's not a good deal. And then, and then for the women, whether it's Kim Kardashian who started it or not, the men also have a role in this. The Have you noticed that most of these men are now going for these plastic bodied women? So it makes other women who do not have that kind of body feel like they're left out and they're never going to get booed up. So they do whatever. And that's why some people have botched, surgeries and all of those things. So really, is this just, can we just push this on TV, on the media, on our music? Or could it be that we are also part of the problem? We have set these standards, or if a handful of us has said, "Oh, I want to look like Kim Kardashian." Every woman has to look like Kim Kardashian to be able to get you a baller or a rapper or someone who's got money. Because I mean,
No, I
if
think
not, why? I mean, you saw what happened 2 months ago when so many women were coming back from a surgery on Delta Air, and they were all coming back from a BBL surgery, and one would really think, where's the world going to? Are we going to hell or what?
Maria, I don't think it's so much of, see, these things are personal. Is there anything that would push you, Marianne, to go and have fat injected in your butt?
I'm not doing it.
Nothing will push you to do that. Nothing will push you to do that. Not because, see, we have a lot of people with low self esteem walking around the world today. So everybody is trying to find what will give them some level of esteem, or what will make them in their head think that, okay, they are relevant or something. Everybody's just looking for, some level of, esteem booster, and they think it is in those things that the esteem comes. It doesn't come in that, right? A man that has a big whatever it is and does not know how to use it, you're as good as useless, right? You need to be able to understand the woman you're dealing with, her body, and know how to navigate her body. That is what brings
Uh,
sexual satisfaction, never about
mm,
the size. Because I'm trying to
uh,
address PJ Mike's or is it RJ make his
I'll just
comment.
make,
It has
yeah.
never been and it will never be about the size. It is about you understanding who you're dealing with as a woman and navigating her body, right? And working through what she wants and getting her to that level of ecstasy. That is how it works. So some of these things are a bunch of insecure people going around the world and trying to project their insecurity on the rest of the others, right? So you are insecure, you've gone to do it, then you're now going on online and posing to say, oh, I have the perfect body and all of that. So the people that have naturally built bodies should go to hell? No. So we need to also, as natural built bodies, start to tell ourselves that, hey, I am here, I'm perfect, and I'm sexy just the way I am, right? Because I think some of these things, the rise in women trying to what's it called, and men now, because men do it as well, they go for surgeries to also try to get their whatever
To
big,
alter their bodies, yes.
to alter their genitals to make it a lot bigger and all of that. You need to stop that. And of course, they do them now. Where you did? Where
Okay.
are you? everybody
Okay.
everybody, so is it that you hear them selling herbs now? Look at it now. Herbs and all this sexual whatever, they sell so quickly. Why? We're having someone very soon, so we want to host the person because we want to know why these things are selling. They are selling because there's a huge market for it. People have been sold this narrative that there is a certain way that sex should look like. There's a certain way that body type should look like that would make it sexy, that would make it attractive. And as long as we continue to have those kinds of narrative, there is no way things are going to change. So we have to be the one to start changing those narratives to say, you know what? I am sexy just the way I am.
Mm. I'm just curious because I'm just thinking to myself, what is a hot man, hot bodied man with all the perfect, abs in place and a, a mandingo without knowing how to maneuver or know how to please? Because there's a lot of one bam, thank you, ma'am, which I think we have to talk about another day on a broader note. Because I've heard somebody put it succinctly that the body of a woman is like a piano. You need to know the keys to be able to play it.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. So I've seen a lot of, or I've heard or encountered a lot of guys that have the big. What do you call it? Wandingo. I like that
Mandingos.
name. Mandingo. I've seen a lot of guys that they exhibit some level of arrogance because they feel that, because again they've been sold that in their head that because I have a big whatever cock, I can get any woman I want. All I need to tell her is that she needs to feel how big I am, and all of that. And I look at them and I smile. That you're so, I mean, the size of that your whatever does not show that there's some brains inside of your head, because if you had brains inside of your head, you would know that it has never been, it will never be about the size of your cock.
Yeah.
I
So
hope I'm allowed to
there's
say all these things.
yeah,
So
it's late
when I
night,
see
so
those
you're
things,
allowed to.
I just, when I see those things, I just laugh, Marianne, because it just tells you how shallow minded you are as a person. And those guys, they do not try. Those guys with the whatever, they do not even try to be
They
romantic. They
don't.
don't try because you just believe that I can, all the woman needs is to feel me, and once she feels me and all of that. only very few guys that have big cocks that they make an effort. So I think it's a lot of work because we didn't get here overnight. We got here, gradually, and we would take ourselves out. We start walking backwards again gradually. It's not going to be an overnight stuff. So that's basically the summary of size and no size and all of that.
I really wish that our internet was not giving us problems at the beginning. We would have been able to get more talk in, but we have just 2 minutes to go. Ooh, I'm going to have to bring you back, and this time with Uti. We're going to have a tag team, a trial, and we're going to be sharing our ideas across generations. And this time around, we're talking about size and how to explore the body and what people are doing wrong, what people are doing right, and how we can, change all of that, because we see a lot of people doing too much and doing absolutely nothing. They're just all over the place, but they're not hitting the right notes. I'm sure that the people that are watching me are wondering
Ah,
what's
my
going on
dear,
with me,
you
women.
can say that again. You can say that again. They are not hitting the right note. See, my dear. But I think in hitting the right note, can I quickly say that before your partner is able to hit the right note with you also must get to that level of sexual awareness. And that's why I say sex is actually not meant for kids. Because you must have trained yourself to get to some level of sexual awareness for the person to be able to, because you at some point, when it in sex is a partnership, right? It's a partnership. Marianne, I'm supposed to direct my partner to say, you know what did you just do now? That was, it hit the right note. So you keep on navigating until you perfect it, to say, okay, yes,
Mm,
we are there now. But it's not, sex is not a one night conversation. It is for every encounter. Your It gets better, it gets sweeter, because you are beginning to see a different side. That's how sex is supposed to be. So when you see children engaging in sex, it's just sad, because you are actually shortchanging yourself. Because
well,
once you've been wrongly programmed, it will be difficult for you to declutter that programming. I mean, to deprogram yourself from it and reprogram a new
yeah,
this thing. So I'd say,
yeah.
when it comes to sexual satisfaction and sexual whatever, if you are like the way I am now, a lot more mature and all of that, I am able to
Mm.
understand, my body and everything, and I know where to hit.
So you can
If I
tell
want to
where
hit the
you need
right
to be
note,
touched. So you just say, I need you to touch here. I need you to go
thank
there.
you.
I need you to.
That's
Well,
it. You just help your partner. Sex is not a man's thing, it's not a woman's thing, it's a partnership. So you are together in it, to get both of yourselves to that level of orgasm, or whatever it is that you want to call it, ecstasy or
crescendo.
whatever. So if you are
Ah,
not, yes, that's the baby, say it again, so that's it. Don't
we
unleash
have
me
to go.
tonight,
It's our time is
please.
up. Our time is up. We will be back next week, Saturday. This time we're coming with guns blazing, and hopefully our internet will let us. Osayuame Saleh is a media personality. She's the host of a show on Plus TV Africa, DSTV channel 408. That's cable for those who are not in Nigeria. You can watch on YouTube Live. It's called Jesus Christ. Did I almost forget the title of your show? It's called Ways, and the hashtag is What Are You Saying?
Absolutely. Oh, it's tricky. Will we lose Marianne again? So I don't know what's going on again.